My girlfriend rolled her eyes at my son and said, "I'm not here to babysit your leftover kid." I smiled. "And I'm done paying for you." I canceled her rent, phone, and car insurance. A week later, she came back pounding on the door and found her bags outside and a note waiting for her. I, 34, male, had been with Jessica, 29, for 8 months when she called my son a leftover kid. We were in my living room on a Saturday morning. Tyler, my 7-year-old, was showing her his science fair ribbon. Second place. Blue and proud. He was bouncing on his feet, talking about the volcano model he'd built. Jessica was scrolling through her phone on the couch, barely looking up. Tyler held the ribbon closer to her face. "See? Blue means second place. First is red, but blue is still really good." Jessica rolled her eyes. She actually rolled her eyes at a 7-year-old holding a ribbon he'd earned. Then she sighed, loud and dramatic, and said the words that ended everything. "I'm not here to babysit your leftover kid." The room went silent. Tyler's smile died. He looked at me, then at her, then dropped the ribbon on the coffee table and walked to his bedroom without a word. I heard his door click shut. I was standing in the kitchen doorway with a spatula in my hand. Pancake batter was still in the bowl on the counter. I put the spatula down slowly, walked into the living room, and stood in front of Jessica. She still didn't look up from her phone. I smiled. "Calm. Cold. And I'm done paying for you." Jessica laughed. She thought I was joking, but she didn't notice me reaching for my phone. Let me rewind 8 months. I met Jessica on a dating app in July. She was funny in her messages, quick with jokes, and seemed genuinely interested when I mentioned I had a son. Our first date was coffee. Our second was dinner. By the third, she'd met Tyler. He liked her. She brought him a Hot Wheels car and asked about his favorite subjects in school. I thought I'd found someone who could fit into our life. I'd been a single father for 4 years. Tyler's mother left when he was 3. No custody battle, no drama. She just decided motherhood wasn't for her and signed away her rights. It was brutal at the time, but Tyler and I built a solid rhythm. Just the two of us. I worked in property management, made decent money, and we were stable. Happy even. Jessica entered that stability carefully at first. She'd come over for dinner, watch movies with us, play board games. But by month 3, cracks started showing. She mentioned her rent was tight. $1,400 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment she could barely afford. She worked part-time at a boutique, 20 hours a week, and her paychecks didn't stretch. I offered to help. Just temporarily, I told myself. Just until she found better work. So I started paying her rent. Every month. $1,400 transferred on the first. Then her phone got shut off. $85 a month. I added her to my family plan. Then her car insurance lapsed. $220 a month. I added her vehicle to my policy. Jessica moved some clothes into my house around month 5. Not officially moved in, but her toothbrush lived in my bathroom and her shampoo crowded my shower. She stayed over most nights. Tyler got used to seeing her at breakfast. But the comments started. "Kids are so loud in the morning. Does he always need this much attention? Can't he just watch TV in his room for a bit?" I brushed them off. I told myself she was adjusting. Not everyone grows up around kids. She'd learn. She'd warm up. I was wrong. The red flags were bright and waving, and I ignored every single one. But that Saturday morning, the mask finally slipped completely. Saturday started normal. I woke up at 7:30, made coffee, and heard Tyler's door open down the hall. He padded into the kitchen in his dinosaur pajamas, holding the blue ribbon from yesterday's science fair. "Dad, can I show Jessica?" I hesitated. Jessica didn't wake up early on weekends. She'd complained before about Tyler being loud in the mornings. But he looked so excited, ribbon clutched in his small hand, that I nodded. "Sure, buddy. But be gentle. She might still be sleeping." Tyler tiptoed into the living room. Jessica was awake, already dressed, sitting on the couch with her phone. She didn't look up when Tyler approached. "Jessica, look." Tyler held up the ribbon. "I got second place. My volcano erupted the best. Mrs. Carter said my lava looked the most realistic." Jessica kept scrolling. Tyler stepped closer. "It's blue. That's really good. There were like 20 projects." Jessica's jaw tightened. She glanced at him for half a second, then back at her screen. "Tyler, it's early. But I wanted to show you. I worked really hard on it." She exhaled through her nose, that annoyed sound people make when they're barely holding back irritation. Then she rolled her eyes and said it. "I'm not here to babysit your leftover kid." Leftover kid. Tyler froze. His face did that thing kids' faces do when they've been hit with words they don't fully understand but know are cruel. His mouth opened slightly. He looked at me. I was standing in the doorway with pancake batter on my hands, frozen mid-step. Tyler dropped the ribbon on the coffee table. It fluttered down, landing crooked. He turned and walked to his room. No tears. No argument. Just silence. The door clicked shut behind him. Jessica still didn't look up from her phone. I set the spatula down on the counter. My chest was tight. My hands were steady. I walked into the living room, stopped in front of the couch, and looked down at her. She finally glanced up. What? I smiled. Not a happy smile. A decision smile. And I'm done paying for you. Jessica laughed, a short, disbelieving sound. What are you talking about? I pulled my phone out of my pocket and sat down at the kitchen table with my laptop. What are you doing? Her voice had an edge now. I didn't answer. The phone in my hand felt like a loaded weapon. I opened my laptop. Jessica stood up from the couch, watching me with a confused frown. Seriously, what are you doing? I logged into the property management portal. Jessica's apartment lease was under her name, but I was listed as the guarantor. She couldn't qualify for it on her own income. The system let me manage the auto payment I'd set up. I clicked Cancel Auto Payment. A confirmation email hit my inbox at 10:04 a.m. Rent payment for April, canceled. Jessica walked over, leaning over my shoulder. Her eyes landed on the screen. Wait, what did you just do? I didn't look at her. I opened my phone carrier account on my phone. Jessica's number was the second line on my family plan. I clicked Remove Line. Another confirmation email. 10:12 a.m. Within 2 minutes, Jessica's phone buzzed on the couch, then went silent. She grabbed it, staring at the screen. No service. Her head snapped toward me. What the hell are you doing? I opened my auto insurance company portal. Jessica's 2019 Honda Civic was listed under my policy. I clicked Remove Vehicle. The system asked me to confirm. I confirmed. Confirmation email. 10:19 a.m. Jessica's car insurance. Canceled effective immediately. Jessica was yelling now. You can't just do this. I closed the laptop, set my phone on the table, and looked at her for the first time since I sat down. I just did. Her face went red. This is insane. Over one comment? Are you serious? You called my son a leftover kid. I didn't mean it like that. How did you mean it then? She stammered. It was early, and he was being loud, and I wasn't thinking. You weren't thinking, I repeated. About the kid who lives here. The kid I told you about on our first date. The kid whose mother abandoned him when he was 3. You called him leftover. Jessica's mouth opened, then closed. She had no answer. You've never apologized to him, I continued. You haven't even knocked on his door. You're standing here defending yourself to me. I'll apologize right now. No. What do you mean, no? You don't get to hurt him and then apologize because you're facing consequences. That's not how this works. Jessica's eyes filled with tears. The manipulation playbook, page 1. You're being cruel. I'm being a father. Where am I supposed to go? You just canceled everything. Your apartment. The one I've been paying $1,400 a month for. Rent is due in 4 days. I know. Her voice cracked. I don't have the money. That's not my problem anymore. Jessica grabbed my arm. I pulled it back. She started crying harder, the kind of loud, gasping sobs meant to make you feel guilty. I stood up, walked to my bedroom, and pulled her clothes out of my closet. I folded them into her suitcase, the one she'd left here weeks ago. Shirts, jeans, dresses. Everything. What are you doing? Her voice was shrill now. You don't live here. You don't pay rent here. You're leaving. We can fix this. Please. I'll do better. I'll be nicer to Tyler. I zipped the suitcase and set it by the front door. We're done. By 10:47 a.m., she was living on borrowed time. Update 1. Jessica stood in my living room, arms crossed, face blotchy from crying. The suitcase sat by the door like a tombstone. You're really going to throw me out? Just like that? Yes. Over one comment. You think it was one comment? I turned to face her fully. You've been dismissive of Tyler since month 3. You complained about him being loud. You said he needed less attention. You rolled your eyes when he asked you to play games. I ignored it because I thought you'd adjust. But you didn't adjust. You got comfortable. And this morning, you called him leftover. Jessica's face twisted. You're twisting everything. No, I'm remembering everything. She changed tactics, softening her voice. I'm sorry. I really am. I'll apologize to Tyler. I'll make it right. No. Why not? Because you don't mean it. You mean you're sorry you're losing free rent and free phone service and free car insurance? You're not sorry you hurt a 7-year-old. Her face hardened. The tears stopped. Fine. You want to be like this? I'll call the police. I almost laughed. For what? You can't just kick me out. I live here. You don't pay rent here. Your name isn't on the lease. You're a guest. And guests leave when they're asked. This is illegal. Call a lawyer, then. See what they say about someone who doesn't pay rent and insults children. Jessica pulled out her phone, then remembered it had no service. She swore under her breath. The look on her face would have been funny if this whole situation wasn't so ugly. The neighbor's dog started barking outside. I glanced out the window. Mr. and Mrs. Chun were in their front yard, pruning bushes. They definitely heard the yelling. Jessica noticed them too. She lowered her voice. Where am I supposed to go right now? Your apartment. Your friends. Your family. I don't care. You'll regret this. I doubt it. She grabbed the suitcase handle, yanked it toward the door, and stopped. You're going to look like the bad guy. Everyone's going to know you abandoned me. Tell them why. She didn't answer. She opened the door, dragged the suitcase out, and slammed it behind her. I stood in the quiet living room for a full minute. Then I walked to Tyler's door and knocked softly. Buddy, can I come in? Yeah. Tyler was sitting on his bed, holding a Lego spaceship he'd built last week. He wasn't crying, but his eyes were red. I sat next to him. Jessica's gone. I heard. I'm sorry she said that to you. It was wrong. It was cruel. And it's not true. Tyler looked at the spaceship in his hands. What does leftover mean? My chest tightened. It means something nobody wanted. But that's not you. Not even close. Mom didn't want me. Your mom made a choice I'll never understand. But that doesn't mean you're leftover. You're everything. Tyler leaned into my side. I put my arm around him. Is she coming back? He asked. No. Good. She was mean. I kissed the top of his head. At 11:34 a.m., I opened my phone's voice recording app and saved the file from the argument, just in case Jessica tried to twist the story later. I texted my friend Marcus, who's a lawyer. Need advice. Have evidence. Can I call you tomorrow? Marcus replied in 30 seconds. Anytime. You good? Getting there. She thought she'd be back in a day. She was wrong. Update 2. For 3 days, Jessica tried everything. Sunday, my phone buzzed 47 times. Calls, texts, voicemails. I blocked her number at 2:15 p.m. Monday. She started emailing. 17 emails between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. I set up a filter to send them straight to a folder I never opened. Tuesday, she showed up at my workplace. I work at a property management office downtown. She walked in at 11:30 a.m., demanding to talk to me. My boss, Linda, called security. They escorted Jessica out while she yelled about how I'd ruined her life. I filed a trespassing report with building security. Incident number 2024 to 8847, filed Tuesday, March 12th, at 2:33 p.m. Wednesday. Mutual friends started reaching out. Sarah, a woman Jessica and I both knew from a local gym, texted me. Hey, Jessica's saying you kicked her out for no reason. What happened? I replied. Ask her what she said to my son. Sarah wrote back an hour later. Oh my God. I asked. She wouldn't answer. Then I pressed, and she hung up on me. I'm so sorry. Another friend, Kevin, sent screenshots. Jessica had messaged him asking to borrow $600. Her message said I'd abandoned her, and she needed help with rent. Kevin wrote to me. Dude, is this true? She's saying you just cut her off out of nowhere. I sent him a 4-sentence summary. She called my 7-year-old son a leftover kid. She never apologized. She never contributed financially to rent, phone, or insurance. I stopped paying for her. Kevin replied, Jesus. Yeah, no. She's not getting money from me. Thursday, I changed my locks. The locksmith, a guy named Pete, showed up at 3:45 p.m. and finished by 4:15 p.m. I kept the receipt. That evening, Tyler asked, Is Jessica coming back? I knelt down so we were eye level. No, buddy. She's not. Tyler nodded slowly. Good. She was mean. Yeah, she was. Friday, Jessica's landlord texted me. I'd given him my number months ago when I started paying her rent as the guarantor. Hey, Jessica hasn't paid April rent. It's due tomorrow. Eviction notice goes up if it's not paid by end of business Monday. I didn't respond. Saturday, Tyler and I went to the park. We flew a kite he'd gotten for his birthday. No phone calls. No interruptions. Just us. Sunday night, I was watching TV when Sarah texted again. Jessica's asking everyone we know for money. She's posting in Facebook groups about needing help with rent. It's bad. I didn't reply. Monday, the eviction notice went up on Jessica's apartment door. Sarah sent me a picture someone else had posted in a group chat. The notice was bright yellow, taped to the door. Official. Public. Tuesday, I saw Jessica's car being towed on my way to work. A flatbed truck, Honda Civic loaded on the back. Repossessed. Her insurance had lapsed, and combined with missed payments, the lender pulled the trigger. I drove past without stopping. Wednesday night at 9:47 p.m., my Ring doorbell lit up. Update 3. I was on the couch with Tyler, halfway through a movie. My phone buzzed with the Ring notification. I opened the app and saw Jessica on my front porch. She was pounding on the door. "I know you're in there. Open the door." Tyler looked at me, eyes wide. "Is that Jessica?" "Yeah." "Are you going to open it?" "No." I turned the TV volume down and watched the live feed on my phone. Jessica's hair was greasy, pulled back in a messy ponytail. Her makeup was smudged. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. She pounded again, harder. "Open the door. We need to talk." The neighbor's porch light flicked on. Mrs. Chun stepped outside, arms crossed, watching. That afternoon, I'd packed the rest of Jessica's things. Toiletries, a few books, some makeup she'd left in my bathroom. 3 trash bags total. I'd set them on the porch at 4 p.m., knowing she'd show up eventually. Jessica stopped pounding. She looked down. The bags were sitting right next to the door. Her face went slack. She bent down, unzipped one, and saw her clothes inside. Then she noticed the note. I'd taped it to the largest bag. White printer paper, black ink, folded once. Jessica unfolded it. I couldn't see her face clearly on the camera, but I saw her shoulders tense. The note said, "You called my son a leftover kid. You never apologized. You never paid rent. You're not welcome here. Don't contact me again." Jessica read it twice. Then she crumpled it in her fist and sat down on the porch steps. Her shoulders started shaking. She was crying. Mrs. Chin walked over. "Miss, are you okay? Do you need help?" Jessica's head snapped up. "Mind your business." Mrs. Chin stepped back, startled. She pulled out her phone. 5 minutes later, a police car pulled up. An officer, young guy, maybe late 20s, got out and approached Jessica. She was still sitting on the steps, surrounded by trash bags, crying into her hands. The officer said something I couldn't hear. Jessica pointed at my door. The officer walked up and knocked. I stood, told Tyler to stay on the couch, and opened the door halfway. "Evening, sir. We got a call about a disturbance. This woman says she lives here. She doesn't. She's a guest who overstayed. I asked her to leave a week ago. Her belongings are packed. She's not on my lease. I filed a trespassing report at my workplace earlier this week when she showed up there. Incident number 2024 to 8847. The officer wrote that down. She says you kicked her out illegally. She never paid rent. Her name isn't on any bills. I have documentation if you need it." Jessica stood up, voice shrill. "He abandoned me. He cut off my phone and my insurance and my rent out of nowhere." The officer looked at me. "Is that true? I stopped paying her bills after she insulted my son. She doesn't live here. I have text records, emails, and voice recordings if you need proof." The officer turned to Jessica. "Ma'am, if you're not on the lease and you don't pay rent, you're considered a guest. He has the right to ask you to leave. But where am I supposed to go? That's not a police matter. You'll need to figure that out. I'd suggest calling a friend or family." Jessica's face crumpled again. "This is insane." The officer looked at me. "Do you want her charged with trespassing?" I thought about it. "No. I just want her to leave and not come back." "Understood." He turned to Jessica. "Ma'am, you need to take your belongings and leave the property. If you come back, you can be charged with trespassing. Do you understand?" Jessica didn't answer. She picked up the trash bags, one by one, and dragged them toward the street. She didn't look back. The officer handed me a card. "If she returns, call this number. We'll handle it." "Thank you." He walked back to his car. I watched Jessica disappear down the sidewalk, bags trailing behind her like shadows. I closed the door, locked it, and exhaled. Tyler was peeking around the corner. "Is she gone?" "Yeah, buddy. She's gone." The officer's report was filed at 10:52 p.m. I never saw Jessica again after that night. But updates trickled in over the next few weeks like debris washing ashore. 2 weeks later, Sarah texted, "Jessica got evicted." She's asking everyone for money. Like, everyone. I saw her in the grocery store parking lot yesterday. She tried to corner me. I didn't respond. A mutual friend from Jessica's gym posted in a local Facebook group about someone harassing members for rent money in the parking lot. The description matched. Messy ponytail, smudged makeup, 3 trash bags in a beat-up sedan. I scrolled past. 3 weeks later, I was driving to work and saw Jessica's car on the side of the road. The 2019 Honda Civic. A tow truck was loading it onto the flatbed. Repossessed. I'd paid her car insurance for 5 months. $220 a month. That's $1,100. I'd paid her rent for 8 months. $1,400 a month. That's $11,200. I'd paid her phone bill for 8 months. $85 a month. That's $680. Total, $12,980. I never asked for it back. I didn't need it back. I just needed to stop hemorrhaging money into someone who saw my kid as an inconvenience. Tyler started therapy 2 weeks after Jessica left. I found a child psychologist, Dr. Patel, who specialized in family transitions. Tyler talked to her about the leftover kid comment. He told her he didn't understand why Jessica said it. He told her he thought maybe something was wrong with him. Dr. Patel called me after the 3rd session. Tyler's resilient. But he needed to hear that you chose him. That you put him first. You did that. He knows it now. Is he going to be okay? He already is. Kids bounce back when they know they're safe. And he knows he's safe with you. I thanked her and hung up. That night, Tyler asked if we could make pancakes for dinner. I said yes. We stood in the kitchen, him on a step stool next to me, cracking eggs into the bowl. No interruptions. No dismissive comments. No one rolling their eyes at a kid who just wanted to be seen. 3 weeks later, Tyler brought home a drawing from art therapy. The drawing was on thick white paper, edges slightly bent from being folded in his backpack. Tyler handed it to me at the kitchen table, shy smile on his face. Dr. Patel said I could bring this home. I unfolded it. It was a crayon drawing of 2 people fishing. One tall, one small. Both smiling. A blue sky, a green shoreline, a yellow sun in the corner. No one else in the picture. Is this us? Tyler nodded. We haven't been fishing yet, but I want to go. My throat tightened. We'll go this weekend. I promise. Just us. Just us. I framed the drawing that night and hung it in the living room, right above the couch. Every time I walked past it, I felt lighter. On a Saturday morning 2 months after Jessica left, I made pancakes again. Tyler sat at the table, helping mix the batter. Flour dusted his nose. He laughed when I flicked a little at him. Dad, can we go to the science museum today? Absolutely. No distractions. No one on their phone ignoring him. No one making him feel small. Just the 2 of us. I thought about the $12,980. I didn't regret the money. I regretted not seeing the red flags sooner. I regretted letting someone into our life who saw my son as a burden. But I didn't regret ending it. Tyler was laughing now, stirring the batter with intense focus, tongue poking out the side of his mouth. That's what mattered. My phone buzzed. Sarah. Jessica moved back to her parents' house in another state. Thought you'd want to know. I typed back. Thanks. Then I deleted the entire text thread, blocked her number, and set my phone face down on the counter. Some doors, once closed, stay closed. That night after the science museum, Tyler asked, Are you going to date again? I looked at him, sprawled on the couch with a book about space. Maybe someday. But right now, I've got the best roommate I could ask for. Tyler grinned. I don't even charge rent. I laughed, a real laugh, the kind I hadn't felt in months. Good, because I'm tapped out. Tyler went back to his book. I sat next to him, pulling him close. The drawing hung on the wall across from us. 2 people fishing. Just us. The leftover kid comment was supposed to break him. Instead, it broke the illusion that someone who couldn't love my son could ever belong in our home. I chose him. I would always choose him. And that choice bought us something money never could. Peace.